Yes guys, how's it going? Samuel here from Let's Talk Ball. Now in case you're not aware, every single Friday you can catch myself and Lucas Yeomans on BBC Radio Stoke talking about the world's hottest debates in terms of football, of course. Now in Friday's show we covered today's video idea, and that is, are Barcelona the most backwards club in world football? If you want to listen to our conversation on the radio, I'll leave a link in the description below. And whilst you're there, you may as well check out one of the most unique and upcoming football websites in the industry. It's www.talkballuk.com. We've got some fresh content coming soon, and of course it's written by yourselves and by the fans. Now this question in itself is multifaceted. In fact, it's a debate. It's going to be. We have to understand that there's a few reasons as to why Barcelona find themselves in this current position of third place behind the leaders Atletico Madrid. One of those prime reasons is their ageing squad. Now you're talking about a squad that features 7 players between the ages of 29 and 34. That's including the bench that includes 2 goalkeepers, and we'll get onto that in a minute. Now you also have to cast your minds back to the 8-2 drubbing by Bayern Munich at the latter end of last year. The squad that Barcelona put out had an average age of 30 years, and 8 players from that first team are still at Barcelona on big money contracts. Now, the reason I get onto money so the is because we're talking about a subject, a debate, a team, a squad, a club that are ruined by the lack of money. And you know, we're talking about a super club. They shouldn't be in this position. But the second reason is literally why they are in this position, and we'll get onto it right now. So, case study 1, Rafinha. Didn't really play that much for Barcelona, but I do remember a few years back even, his potential, it was looking good. He's Thiago's brother. A lot was expected of him, and he didn't deliver that there. But he did have a market value of £25 million after a successful loan spell at Inter Milan. That was in 2018. A player who didn't really play much for Barcelona anyway was put on loan to gain some experience, to add value to his price tag, and he did just that. Barcelona should have sold him there and then, because he only went on to make 11 appearances in the last 3 years. And do you know what happened then? He left on a free transfer. Immediately, 25 million at least gone from Barcelona. Case study 2 does not get any better. In fact, it gets worse, because we're talking about a global superstar, a superstar striker who is capable of bagging the golden boot in any top division. It's Luis Suarez. Now, they looked at his age. He is old. He's getting old, but I do believe that the age in the modern game now, I believe that, players, along with an improved diet, an improved training regime, improved recovery regime, can go longer. We've seen it with Ibra, we've seen it with Ronaldo, we're seeing it with Messi, arguably. It's a fact, and for Barcelona to get rid of a Luis Suarez who's just out of his prime, I believe was a big mistake. The even bigger mistake, if they did want to depart with him, was not accepting that 30 million market value, because that's exactly what he had. He had a £31.5 million market value just a few months before his contract expired. Now, if you are looking to move a player on, why not try and sell him before the contract expires for a cut price tag, maybe 20 million, something like that? Barcelona don't think like that. And arguably, why are you even trying to move Luis Suarez on? Because we're talking about a player who has chipped in with 33 goal contributions in just 36 games. That was the season prior. That was the season that Barcelona were toying with letting Luis Suarez go. You're talking about some world beater stats there. 21 goals and 12 assists. That is impeccable. Now, to make matters even worse, compared to Griezmann that they value so highly, and someone who has a market value of £86.4 million, he actually contributed significantly less attacking returns. He chipped in with 19 attacking returns in 48 appearances. Luis Suarez blew him out the water. I get that positionally they can vary, but you're talking about an elite level striker here. And what did they do? They let him leave on a free transfer. But it gets even worse. Ivan Rakitic, one of the biggest case studies for this, because in 2018, at the age of 30 years old, he had a market value of £63 million. PSG made a bid of £90 million and Barcelona rejected it. Of course, if you're wondering why Rakitic had this market value, it was, if you cast your minds back to the World Cup, Croatia went pretty far into it. I believe they reached the final. And although Modric was getting all the plaudits for it, Rakitic didn't go unnoticed. He played a significant role in that Croatian team, and as a result, his market value soared. PSG obviously made the 90 million bid. They were really interested in bringing him in, and Barcelona rejected that. That's fair enough. You've got somebody who's just come off the back of an exciting and prosperous World Cup campaign, and you want to keep him. That's fair enough. One of the best midfielders in the world at that time. In my opinion, Barcelona should have sold him, because the following season he fell down the pecking order and left for under £1.5 million. It's daylight robbery. I can't even believe that I'm saying that. The 2 seasons prior, they could have got £90 million and they just let him go for under £1.5 million. It's tragic. Arguably one of the worst deals ever. Pjanic and Artur. You'll remember this because it's pretty recent. Essentially, Barcelona swapped a 23-year-old with potential, may I add, for a steadily declining 30-year-old. They spent £55 million on Pjanic in total and sold Artur for £66 million. Now, so far, in 25 appearances at the time of recording this, Pjanic has actually chipped in with no contributions, no attacking returns. He has been deployed as a CDM for around 9 or 10 games, but even so, that for a player of that calibre and for a player that you expect for over £50 million, that is tragic. 0 goals, zero assists, and of course, because he is now knocking on, he's approaching 31. His market value is declining, and Artur, his price tag can only increase. Now, I've only given 4 examples of the awful transfer policy that they've got because there's no philosophy there. It's clear to see. And there are a lot more examples that I could give. And you know what? I'm feeling like it right now, because part of this problem that they have found themselves in is due to this. They're allowing La Masia graduates to sign for other clubs and become world beaters. I've got a few listed on screen right now and what their current market value is in this market. Andre Onana, of course, he's got that ban now, but he's been prolific for Ajax. He's a good keeper. Current market value, £32 million. Mauro Icardi, we all know about him. Current market value, £50 million. Adama Traore, not been as efficient and not been as effective this season, but again, he's proved himself. It's £36 million market value. And it's worth noting, as we cycle down these players, their market value is just the minimum that they will get. We all know about the market value and the correlation between the actual price tag. It's never anywhere near. It's always, if Icardi's worth 50, he could be sold for 70. The market value is just a underlying basis of what you can base that price tag on. Alejandro Grimaldo, we all know about him. Benfica left back. Hector Bellerin, 25 million. Luca Digne, they let these guys go for free from the La Masia Academy, and they're continuing to do it. It's a sad thing to see, even though they've got a squad that needs players like that, and they could have had that, but it just didn't work out for them because they let them go. It's as simple as that. Now that brings me on to the third point of them lacking squad depth. They actually had to put 2 goalkeepers on the bench versus PSG because of this lack of squad depth. We're talking about a club who rushed Gerard Piqué back into the side after his injury, a player who had no match fitness in him, no match sharpness. They rushed him back for the Champions League game because they felt that he was fundamental to their squad, and they've not got good enough depth to cover him. Now, what about Todibo, who's just been loaned out to Nice? Why have you let him go then? If you've got no squad depth in that position, why are you letting him go? Because he's a good enough replacement. And this is just another thing that we get onto with Barcelona. Now, the 4-1 loss to PSG, it brought back memories of their 8-2 drubbing to Bayern Munich that they faced. Now, I think they're in need of a rebuild because we're talking about 8 players from that loss at Bayern Munich are still in the squad. They're on big money contracts. They need to be let go. And Barcelona, effectively, they need a rebuild. But the sad thing is, they've not got enough money. And this is why they potentially are one of the most backwards European super clubs, at least. Because they're over £1 billion in debt. That's fair enough. We've had the coronavirus. The economy is still stricken with that. It's trying to cope with that. It's dealing with that. But we're talking about a club here who are so backwards. They've paid Lionel Messi over £500,000 in the last 4 years. A club who are over £1 billion in debt. Go back another 4 years. They've done the same. They're over £1 billion in debt because of one man, because of arguably one of the greatest footballers ever, Lionel Messi. A Lionel Messi who is 33 and in 4 months is 34 and a free agent. Now we're talking about a club here who can't afford to play Coutinho due to appearance bonuses. A player that they bought for £130 million. They're in dire straits. They're in a terrible position in the league. I mean, it's a miracle that they're third, in fairness, because I actually don't rate their squad. In all seriousness, I believe Manchester City's bench, let's say the majority of their bench, could walk into that Barcelona first team. And that's truly how I feel. I think we're looking at a super club now, because I don't think we can take them seriously. They're not. The fact is, they're not going to win a major trophy within the next 5 years, in my opinion. That'll probably get clipped. They'll probably find money from somewhere and do a rebuild. But, I digress. We're talking about a club here who haven't won a trophy for 3 years. Again, that number 3 comes into it. It's tragic. And I think Lionel Messi is the problem. And I don't want to say that. But I think Lionel Messi could be the problem. His wages are just too big. No football club should be run like that. And as I just readjust myself there, no football club should be run like that. Effectively, no player is bigger than the club, especially one the size of Barcelona. Now, the question that I put out to you is, does the leaked contract that we saw, in which he's bagging £500 million over 4 years with Barcelona, that's without his sponsors. It's astronomical money. Does the leaked contract take away from his one club legacy? Because anyone's going to stay at a club for that type of fee, right? We talk about players like Francesco Totti, regarded and hailed as a prolific and celebrated one club man. Was that because of his wage? No. And this is the reason now. Do we look at Messi's legacy at Barcelona differently, knowing that he's been on this astronomical money, knowing that he's on a wage that's way bigger than his teammates? That's going to cause upset in the squad too. So does it take away from his legacy? Now, as we look at Messi more in depth, his contract expires in 4 months, like I said earlier. And in 4 months, he will be 34 years of age. Now, we've seen the likes of Ibrahimovic and Lewandowski still going strong, and Ronaldo is, of course, still going strong at those older ages. And that's just because of how the game has developed. We've got better training regimes and better diet, better recovery that goes into that. You can expect players to be in their prime at a later age even. And I think that's probably the case with what we're seeing with Messi. So he's still got a lot to give at 34, but his contract expires and he's not going to be around for the rebuild. Like, it's not a thing, not at 34. He's not going to win anything with Barcelona within the next 4 to 5 years. Not how they're progressing, or should I say declining, because he's effectively too old for that. He's too old for Barcelona to build a squad around him. That leaves a few options, and I've actually put Inter Milan on screen because if you'll remember back in December, there were some big links with a move for him to go to Inter Milan, but the Messi situation of where he'll go is an entirely different video. I'm putting my feelers out there and I'm going for probably Man City and PSG are the most likely. That's what we found according to well-known sources. The Man City deal probably suits him better because he's stated he wants to, have a stint in the MLS. Man City own New York City, so that'd be a really good path for him to go down that route. But the inevitable question that I leave to you is, should Lionel Messi leave Barcelona this summer? And not just for his personal gain. Should he be doing that as a sacrificial lamb for Barcelona? If he looks at it, he's causing a big problem to Barcelona. Arguably right now, he's Barcelona's biggest problem. And it doesn't help a super club who lack a philosophy, who lack a transfer policy. And this man is partly responsible for that. And I hate to say it, but it's true. Now, I'd love to hear your opinion in the comments below. And also check out the conversation that we had on BBC Radio Stoke on Friday. You can do that via the link below. And of course, check out our website, www.talkballuk.com. And that's it for now. So I'll catch you all later. Peace.